Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Hey Little Magpie featuring Maggie Holmes Market Square. So I'm going to use the On the Farm paper as my base. This is actually the B side. It's got dark green and farm animals on the other side, and I've cut it to a 9x12 size. I used this size quite a bit in the last couple of years just to add some variety to my scrapbooking and to my albums, and actually it makes you think a little differently when it comes to actually making your layout. So I'm having a look at the chipboard there and to see which pieces that I might want to use, and you'll see me peeling the sticky backing off just that way I can move them around, and if I don't want to use them I can pop them back on the chipboard. So I find it's a system that works easier for me. So I'm definitely going to use the stamp set that comes with this range, and there's a small stamp that I've taken off the backing of a little flower, and I've just stuck it back on the packaging for the moment, but it's there to remind me that I want to use it. So I'm just going through the ephemera pieces that come with this set to see what there might be in there that I might want to use. So I'm already thinking of colourways, and I do tend to scrap quite a lot by colour. So I'm looking for pinks, greens and like a mustardy yellow. So I found a photograph that I like that I want to use with this. I wanted something with an outdoor theme, and this is my parents at Downton Abbey. And we all went there a few years ago to celebrate a big birthday of mine, and we had afternoon tea. So that definitely deserves a layout, doesn't it? So I'm just looking, I want to add some papers behind the photograph. Still sticking with the colourways that I've thought. Obviously you can see I've used some of these papers before. So I've got some offcuts, but also some of them have come out of the 6x8 pad. I quite like that peachy one, so that I think is going to go behind that photograph as well. So yes, I'm liking the way that looks. As I say, it looks completely different on this sort of size layout. So I'm just having a look at the acetates and any bits and pieces I've picked out to see what would potentially go with these photos. So to you it may not look like there's much space to fill. I'm actually going to cram on quite a bit really, and I want to get some of these flowers tucked around both sides of the photograph and the tag. So I'm ignoring the fact that there's like a raise on the paper. I think you can see it but you don't really notice it so much, so I'm going to go with a vertical and a horizontal design, which will make more sense the further I go. I'm just looking to see if there's any other colour flowers that might be useful to tuck in around these photographs. I decided to stick with what I've got. I prefer that pink camera to the sticker one, which is a bit of more of a mustard colour. But I have actually fussy cut some flowers out of one of the 6x8 papers. So they're little flowers with like a gold edging. The gold doesn't really show up very well on camera, but it has a nice delicate look, which and they cut out really well. Now that title at the bottom there, All Smiles, is gold on acetate. As I say, it's not showing very well, and at the end was an absolute devil to photograph. And I hadn't really thought about that when I chose it. But I'm still just tucking bits in. I like the way this is looking, but I just feel like I don't need two titles. So I'm going to use this, from this piece of paper, I'm actually going to cut a journaling spot and stick it to the tag, and that's the Lovely Day paper that I've just cut that from. So I'm actually going to add journaling to that spot, and I think that gives it a better look already, and I really like the cute bird. A bird definitely makes it to the final cut. Yeah, I think it also fits with the outdoor theme. So I'm just starting to put the tag and the photograph with its layers, just going to rough up the edges a little bit as well. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I'm not quick to stick anything down, but actually I just want to be sure that things are in the right place, because I hate having to peel them back up. But actually I have got quite a firm idea of what I want to do on this layout. So I'm going to bring in 3 Distress Oxides. You can find all these in the Hey Little Magpie shop. I've got Tattered Rose, Antique Linen and Spun Sugar. Now I actually chose these by stamping with the flower on the manufacturer's strip. You've just seen it there, because that way you can actually test it out on the actual paper just to see what the colour looks like. So I want to give the impression of these flowers falling from the top down the page, but I don't need them to be really in your face. I just need them to be just there as a little bit of added layering. So trying to be random is actually sometimes harder than you think, particularly when I'm trying to juggle 3 colours. So actually I'm just using 1 colour at a time. I'm just trying to place a few of the flowers. Sometimes I bring actually the photo back in so I can actually see where I've missed or where I need to add more. Because sometimes you find that you cover a lot of your mixed media actually with your photographs and your ephemera. But this is a really good way of using a small background stamp, and I really like the way it looks, but it was definitely worth testing the colours beforehand because not all inks look the same on paper as they do on the lid or actually on the actual ink pad itself. So I'm just adding a few more in, twisting the stamp as I go, just so it's in different directions to give more of a look of it falling. And then now I'm just trying to highlight any places I think that I might have missed. I don't want to cover the whole of the background paper, that wasn't my intention. So there we are, that's it, it's all the stamping done for now. I think I will probably double check right at the end. So I'm now going to start to layer up my photograph, layer up the tag, and start to put it all back together again. But I'm really pleased with the way those inks look now they've dried. I'm adding the photo and the tag on foam pads, and I have tucked everything in off camera just the way it looked at the very beginning. Lots of layers all tucked in around the photograph and the journaling tag. I'm now looking for any bits and pieces that might go in around them, or any little extras that I've missed. I hate to think that something might have been there and I didn't notice it. So I'm going to find a few hearts or stars or something just to add extra. I do stick down the acetate word title with a little bit of wet glue off camera and left it overnight to dry eventually, just to make sure I didn't smudge it or move it, because that would really annoy me. I'm going to add a little bit of thread into the tag and just weave that across the top of the layout. Something also that I'm going to do is I'm going to add journaling to that tag. Now I'm dyslexic and I'm not the best person with words, so I don't always like to add journaling to the front of a layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of scrap paper the same size as the vacant gap on that tag, and I'm going to practice what I'm going to say, and then I'm actually going to see if those words fit in my handwriting. And if they do, then I will copy it onto the original, which I'm doing now. That's the practice piece, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. So I actually did copy it word for word, but sometimes it means I can change what I want to write. I'm not one of these people that can be spontaneous with journaling, I'm afraid. So I'm just adding in another stamp there, but I'm really pleased with how that's finished. I'd really recommend you tried this size. Here's the full image and some close-ups, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.